Single-family homes in the top 20% for electricity or natural gas use represent major opportunities for energy savings, but this is a segment of the residential market that isn't typically targeted specifically by efficiency programs. My name is Claire Cowan, Director of Programs with Seventh Wave. I'm going to talk about a study that our organization has completed with funding from the Minnesota Department of Commerce's Conservation Applied Research and Development Grant Program. We took an in-depth look at 100 Minnesota homes and in an effort to help efficiency program managers better understand this segment of the market, quantify the energy savings potential associated with the most common efficiency opportunities, and develop effective program strategies to target high-use homes. This is the third of 3 short videos that we've prepared about the study. And today I'm going to talk about efficiency program tactics. So what do we hope to get from targeting high-use homes with our programs? Because you've got greater energy savings potential per home, there's the opportunity to increase program cost effectiveness because you yield greater savings from the same program intervention. So the question then becomes, how do you target this market segment effectively? In our characterization research, we found that in many ways, high-use homes are no different from the general population. And this suggests that it's not about inventing entirely new program offerings, but rather employing strategic program adaptations to effectively target this part of the market. I'm going to go through each tactic using a typical home energy audit program as an example. These kinds of programs are run by utilities across the country, so it provides a good way to illustrate the kinds of things where we see opportunity for better targeting of high-use homes. So the first tactic is to adapt your program implementation protocol to specifically focus on the largest areas of savings potential. In the first video in our series, we talked about how we used remote analytics, combining energy consumption data with tax assessor data to remotely identify what kinds of things could be going on in high-use homes, which would then allow you to really target your approach in the home with the kinds of things that you're seeing remotely with the data. There are opportunities and limitations of this approach, so I do encourage you to watch Scott Pigg's video on the topic. We also saw a lot of opportunities for big savings through better consumer education and behavioral program interventions. So one of the common contributors to electric high usage was prevalence of electric space heaters. Consumers really weren't aware how much these space heaters were costing them in terms of their energy bill, but they were, once they were informed, quite willing to change some of their practices around space heater use. We also saw opportunities to do better education around continuous furnace fan operation, how to change those settings, which is a no-cost thing that people can easily do in their home. However, they've been told by their contractors not to make those adjustments. So again, good educational opportunity. Thirdly, on the electric side, we saw plenty of remaining opportunity for lighting efficiency improvements. We heard a lot from people about how they don't like compact fluorescence, and with all of the advancements in the LED market and cost reductions, there's great opportunities for programs to be promoting more efficient lighting strategies. The second tactic I want to talk about is providing energy use feedback. We found that feedback about people's relative energy consumption definitely gets their attention. It wasn't a tactic that we specifically used when we were going out to homes to do audits, but people told us about home energy reports that they had gotten independently from their utilities. The information catches their attention, and they wanted to talk about it. When we fielded our study, we were able to work with 4 participating utilities in Minnesota to launch a small-scale pilot. The goal of the pilot was to determine whether usage-based messaging would be an effective recruitment tool to get people to take advantage of audit program offerings. So in the Duluth area, we were trying to promote the home energy audit program that's available online from Minnesota Power and Comfort Systems. In the Rochester area, we worked with Minnesota Energy Resources and Rochester Public Utilities to promote their Neighborhood Energy Challenge, which offers a heavily discounted home energy audit. What we did in the pilot was send out postcards to thousands of homes. We had a treatment group which employed usage-based messaging, letting people know that their homes used more energy than the average home of their size. And the control group had no usage-based messaging and simply promoted the audit. Now, what we really found in this pilot is that postcards don't tend to drive a lot of interest in audit programs. We saw very low uptake in both the treatment and the control group. But we still think there's opportunity to educate people better about their energy use, and people clearly are interested in this information based on our conversations with them. It might just be a different way of delivering that message. Last tactic I want to talk about is offering some extra program support to high usage homes. So if you've got 100 homes who've gone through an audit program and 20% of those homes have exceptionally high use, you could consider offering some additional follow-up after the audit to find out whether they've taken advantage of efficiency rebates or implemented some of the suggestions made in the audit. And if they haven't, try exploring some of the barriers that they're encountering. Maybe they need help connecting with a qualified contractor in their area, or maybe they're not aware of a new financing offering that you're rolling out. Either way, if you're talking about higher energy savings potential per home, it makes sense to offer some additional support to these households. Thank you very much for your time today. I encourage you to download the other 2 videos in our series, in addition to a longer webinar about the characterization research, which we put out last year, and you can download the full report. Thanks so much for your time.